You ready? I have Supervisor, please take your seats. Join me for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a roll call of supervisors, please?
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you. Supervisor Cardinelli is excused. At this time, I would like to welcome County Executive Jim Cruiser up to the podium for a presentation of proclamations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Join me up here, that'd be terrific. There are many times that we talk about how it's the people who make a difference in Kenosha County. It's our employees that put the extra effort forth every day. It is with great pride and honor I'm here tonight to honor two county employees that really just make me beam and think about how they went above and beyond the call of duty. So at this time, I would like to request Deputy Allison George to join the chairman and me up here. Give her a round of applause. That's great. So with this, on behalf of myself and Chairman Esposito and the entire county board, and all of the rest of the county employees, we have a certificate of recognition presented to Deputy Allison George. Whereas on the night of January 18th, 2019, Kenosha County Sheriff's Deputy Allison George was on patrol during a snowstorm when she was dispatched to the southbound Interstate 94 off-ramp at Highway 50, where it was reported that a mother had begun to go into labor in a parked vehicle. And whereas Holly Leppert and her husband William have been en route to St. Catherine's Medical Center, but determined their arrival at the hospital would not come before the arrival of their baby. And whereas Deputy George, without hesitation and with great dispatch, put into use her police academy training in spite of having never witnessed the delivery of an infant. And whereas with Deputy George's assistance, Holly Leppert gave birth to Nathan Leppert in her vehicle before she was transported by ambulance to the hospital. And whereas 2 weeks later, Deputy George had the opportunity to meet with the happy, healthy baby and his family, at which time she delivered an honorary proclamation declaring him a junior deputy of the Kenosha County Sheriff's Department. And whereas just days after her heroics with the Leppert family, Deputy George and two of her colleagues received the Sheriff's Department Life-Saving Award for their emergency response efforts at the scene of a shooting in the town of Wheatland in November 2018. Now therefore, we, Jim Cruiser, Kenosha County Executive, and Daniel Esposito, County Board Chairman, together with the County Board of Supervisors, do hereby present the certificate of recognition to Deputy Allison George in recognition and appreciation of her hard work and courage in the line of duty. We are all proud of Deputy George's achievements and grateful for the work she does to promote public safety in Kenosha County. Given this day, 19th day of March 2019, Jim Cruiser, Kenosha County Executive, Dan Esposito, Kenosha County Board Chairman. Please stand and give the applause to the deputy. Deputy, the mic is yours.
Well, first of all, all righty. I don't want to be too loud here. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, obviously, to all of Kenosha County. I was just talking to my chief deputy, and moments like this, they're big, but in the grand scheme of things and in current events, they're kind of just a little drop in the bucket. But for Kenosha County to recognize these great moments in the deputies' lives, we really appreciate it.
Thank you for all your work. And this is the first time we've done this, and we have two tonight, which is very obviously unusual. Again, I'm glad to call up this employee, as some people call them snow warriors. They go out, plow snow when everybody's staying at home, and making our roads clean and our lives safe for when we traverse to work, for emergency vehicles to travel where they need to travel, and for commerce to take place. And at this time, I am proud to call up William Fink of the Kenosha County Highway Department. Again, the chairman and I are here with great pride of county employees that we hire, folks that live in Kenosha County that go the extra mile, can throw a rope an extra few yards, and not afraid of cold water to get into to save somebody. So in recognition, in certificate of recognition to William Fink, whereas early on the morning of February 7th, 2019, Kenosha County Division of Highways Patrolman William Fink was driving a snowplow truck on Highway W in the town of Wheatland when he came upon a scene of a man in distress. Whereas the man, a 19-year-old Wheatland resident, had been driving to work when he lost control of his vehicle and skidded off the road into the Fox River. And whereas William stopped his plow and pointed its headlights toward the man standing on the ice in the middle of the river, surrounded by turbulent water. And whereas with the assistance of another passerby, William waded into the frigid river and used a rope to pull the man to safety out of the water. And whereas the Kenosha County Sheriff's Department deputies and Wheatland Fire Department personnel were then able to care for the man who was treated for hypothermia but was otherwise uninjured. And whereas without William's courageous actions, it is highly likely the man in the distress would have suffered severe injuries, if not death. And whereas William clearly went above and beyond his duties in the morning of February 7th, displaying his true character to his colleagues and the community. Now therefore we, Jim Cruiser, Kenosha County Executive, and Daniel Esposito, County Board Chairman, together with the County Board of Supervisors, do hereby present this certificate of recognition to William Fink in recognition and appreciation of his bravery and selflessness, which potentially saved the life of a fellow Kenosha County resident. We are extremely proud of his efforts and are honored to claim him as a true and model representative of our county. Given this day, the 19th day of March 2019, Jim Cruiser, Kenosha County Executive, Daniel Esposito, Kenosha County Board Chairman, give it up for William Fink. Absolutely. Could William's family join him? Come on up.
She's like, I want to take a picture.
I want to thank the city of Kenosha for giving me the opportunity of this job. It's not, I changed careers 5 months ago, so it shows the dedication that I have in my family. They really give me the support, and like you said, when snowing and whatnot, we get pulled away from our family. Christmas, all the holidays, we get pulled away, but it's for us to keep you guys safe. didn't think I'd have to do this in my line of work, but again, it's what we do for the city of Kenosha. And thank you so much. And thank you for my wife and my kids to keep me surrounded. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Would you like a picture of all of you here? No. Daniel will take a picture of all of us. They were right there. That's another public service. Go ahead and interview Dan.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more.
And thank you again for your time.
Well, now that's a way to start a meeting. With that, we'll move on to citizen comments. Any citizens wishing to speak, you have 5 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Step up to the podium. Citizen comments.
They're all trying to decide who's going to go, so I almost missed it.
Good evening. My name is Kathy DeVerney. I live at 5602 First Place in Kenosha. This is in regards to the KR Phase 2 project. So I can't begin to understand the need for KR Phase 2 and 3, much less the need to fast track it. Unless there is an agenda we are not aware of, I feel it is an enormous waste of taxpayer money. I have lived with KR in my backyard for 30-plus years and travel it twice a day. WSDOT did a study in which they state 9,500 vehicles traveled this stretch each day. That's 7 cars every minute, 24/7. I questioned the validity of this study. Why were human counters used instead of electronic counter strips? Were the counts at various times during the day and evening, or was the count during peak drive times and just projected out? Were the counters at various locations along KR? And then where did the 18 to 20,000 vehicles per day count come by? It's a 2042 projection. Where did that come from? On July 11th, 2018, Racine County Executive Jonathan Delagrave gave an interview to Wisconsin Eye where he said, and I quote, "The great thing about this is Racine County is ascending. We are finishing up an Eastern Racine County Transportation Task Force, and we're going to have some recommendation that will come out of this. But another benefit of Foxconn is that the city of Racine is one or two major cities that do not have access to a major freeway system in Wisconsin. We're going to be able to have now a spur shared with Kenosha County for people to access the city of Racine," unquote. Although I don't know why, we all know Racine County is pushing this agenda. What I can't figure out is what's in it for Kenosha. Where's the representation from the Kenosha side? It's all of our tax dollars being spent. So unless there are plans to build the likes of a 794 and the Hone Bridge, I don't see how Phase 2 and then 3 to come can be considered a spur, or how getting to downtown Racine from I-94 is going to be much different than it is today. Where will the projected 20,000 vehicles go once they reach Sheridan Road? How will traffic cross KR without traffic signals? And then how will those people living on KR gain access? I'm also curious as to why Phase 2 is stopping just past Campbell's Woods. I have to believe that the cost of Phase 3 is going to be enormous and there is no funding for it. All the more reason a study needs to be done to determine this expense and further determine whether the push for Phase 2 in its existing form is really worth it. Is KR in need of improvement? Absolutely, but not to the extent of $59 million, not counting land acquisition and Phase 3. 2 railroad overpasses, 4 lanes of traffic, a 22-foot median, 8-foot shoulder, and a 10-foot bike path. There just has to be a better, less costly solution. I have so many questions, and I think others do too, and as our representatives, it is your obligation to represent your constituents and to answer these questions before voting to spend more good money after bad. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
Kevin Rano, 5621 First Street, which is Highway KR within the Phase 2 project. You have a beautiful space here. It's much better than the county to the north that I visited last week. I've lived in this home for 32 years on Highway KR. If this is being timed, if someone could tell me when 1 minute and 40 seconds is up, please. This is the small increase in travel time from 72nd Avenue to Sheridan Road when the speed limit is reduced from 45 miles per hour to a safer 35 miles per hour. Through recent events in Racine County, it has become evident that feedback from public information meetings has not been reaching their Board of Supervisors. I'm hoping that it's been reaching each of you. I met with and/or provided written comments to the DOT, Kenosha County Exec, and/or Summers President 9 times from April 2018 to March 2019. I have also sent two emails to each of the Kenosha County Board members in the last week just to raise awareness. At this point, the Summers President has been the most responsive. Similar to what Kathy just said, in that July 2018 interview, the Racine County Exec discussed limitations of connections from I-94 to the city of Racine. When I-94 was built, it was intentionally designed to avoid every city except Milwaukee. Subsequently, many cities grew out to meet the interstate. Racine did not, but its metro area has. Even though Waukesha and Kenosha expanded, the distance from each downtown to I-94 did not change. The same is true for Racine. Also in this interview, the Racine County Exec envisioned Highway KR as a new spur highway to the city of Racine, and he felt it was justified because of Foxconn. I understand the excitement of the time was an opportunity to ask for free money from state and federal sources. A highway spur is defined as a limited or no access link from the interstate to a city. An example in the definition was given as I-794 or the Mitchell Airport Spur. If they want a limited access highway to the city of Racine, they should bend Highway KR right at 72nd Avenue, head across the fields to Regency Mall where the city of Racine limits start. If they play their cards right, maybe the Wisconsin DOT will convert that section to a state highway. The remnants of Highway KR could remain a county road through the existing residential area. If this plan is not feasible, then recognize Highway KR from 72nd Ave to Sheridan Road for what it already is, with concentrated homes, many intersections, nearby parks, and recreation paths. The speed limit should be lowered from 45 to 35, and the highway design standard changed to require less private land to be taken and fewer trees to remove. Are you aware that there is a DOT standard 4-lane road that does this and meets the traffic volume projected? In early 2017, before Foxconn even arose, I asked for and received a written commitment from the Kenosha County Highway Commissioner to begin a study to lower the speed limit in our area. Ultimately, this would make a much more pleasant impression for our visitors, be safer and more civilized for our residents in the long term. All of this for only 1 minute and 40 seconds. Highway KR is not a spur. We live there, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Obviously, there's quite a few people here. Let's try to queue up. Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, I'm
Thank you.
Kathy Dahl. Can you hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Kathy Dahl, 101 56th Avenue, Kenosha, which is the corner of KR and 56th Avenue. I would like to thank you ahead of time for your consideration. I am a homeowner that lives on KR. I will be directly affected by Phase 2. I agree improvements need to be made to KR, but I am not in support of the plan as it currently proposed. I would like this project to be reevaluated with the concerns and consideration of the voting tax-paying residents that live along KR. I work in engineering department, and I know what it's like to take a project back to the drawing board and rework it. This can be done with this project. I do feel improvements to KR are needed, like a wider shoulders in case a car needs to pull off the road. Currently, there are deep ditches that run on both sides of KR. I feel the road near the railroad tracks needs to be leveled out a bit to avoid blind spots when coming over a hill and to stop traffic. I feel the speed limit needs to be lowered due to the density of the driveways on KR. If you've ever been to Racine on 90th Street, I travel that to work. I think that would be an ideal situation. It has the 2 lanes, a bike trail, bike pass on both sides, parking lane, 35 miles an hour. According to the new KR road proposal, the road will be designed to accommodate a new increased speed limit of 50 miles per hour. The homeowners, myself, and I know many of them, have been asking repeatedly for several years that the speed limit of 45 miles per hour, which it currently is, be lowered to 35, but no one was listening, and now they plan on raising it to 50. And with the double lanes proposed, the traffic will probably be doing 60. At least if they kept it to 2 lanes, we won't have cars racing each other like they do on Highway 31. The higher speed limit will also cause higher noise decibels and light pollution from extra street lights needed. The data must agree with this statement, because the DOT's environmental study says the new setback between 90th Street and Green Bay Road will be 75 feet. Quote unquote, this is quote, "These new distances indicate the noise levels within this distance measured at an average of 66 decibels or greater." Well, what happens to the homeowners that are currently living with a 35-foot setback? Mind you, they want to raise it to 75 feet. Because of the noise. $59 million is what they're projecting. The cost will be to widen KR to 4 lanes with a 22-foot median. I drove the other day into Kenosha. I took the route of Washington Road to 22nd Avenue south to 80th Street. My goodness, those roads were undrivable. I felt like I was driving through a cornfield. I think that money could be spread out a little bit to fix the awful conditions of the roads in Kenosha. At the entrance of I-94 and KR, it's common knowledge that the eminent domain was used to acquire land to accommodate the wider road for Foxconn traffic. Now, with a recent news report of February 25th, 2019, that says Foxconn Technology Group acquired a second large office building in downtown Racine. I have to wonder if Phase 2 and eventually Phase 3 is just another attempt to appease the giant Foxconn to make it easier for them to get from their plant on I-94 to their downtown businesses. Again, I would like this project reevaluated with the concerns and considerations of the voting, tax-paying residents that live along KR. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Haley Bell. I live at 6119 First Street, the summer side of KR. My family, this home has been in my family for well over 20 years. My parents bought this home with their family in mind. This was their dream home. The acreage, the rural charm, and the beautiful trees that sit in the front of our property are just a few things that made this the perfect spot for them to settle. Sorry. The acreage provided space for their grandchildren, my children, to run and explore. That was the venue. It was also the venue for many family gatherings. I look back at those memories. I remember Christmases, birthday parties, baby showers, bridal showers, and even our niece's wedding was held there. All beautiful events hosted at my family home that would not have been possible without the quaint atmosphere that the homes on KR currently provide. My husband and I and our 3 children moved into my parents' home in 2012 after my father passed away. Over the last 7 years, I have had just a glimpse of what my parents experienced in their years in this home. My husband and I's image for our future in this home is now being ripped away from us. What freedom will my grandchildren have to run about our yard with a 4-lane roadway just outside of our front door. The peaceful mornings my family spends on our patio in the summers are being taken away from us by a boisterous highway. The beautiful trees, property are being cut down to aid the road expansion. All of what we look out our front window rather than a view of expansive farmland that our neighbors too had to give up. We will see a concrete wall. My hope is that the Department of Transportation can relocate their plans for the disruptive highway expansion further into Mount Pleasant and leave the town of Summers out entirely. Also, the KR expansion wasn't to happen until 2050 land use plan. I believe this has been rushed through for a corporation that has a history of broken promises of not building. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name and address for the record.
Leslie Mai, 7820 County Line Road, which is KR in Mount Pleasant. As a Racine County resident, thankfully, you guys are off the hook with having to deal with me and my neighbors in Mount Pleasant on land acquisition. But I wanted to just take a moment and share with you what exactly we're talking about. This is what your superhighway is going to do to my front yard, as well as the front yard of my neighbors along the Racine County side. The red line is the right-of-way, and everything in its path will be destroyed and replaced with lanes of traffic, 22-foot medians, 8-foot shoulders, walking paths. My aspens, my fruit trees, my landscaping, everything will be gone. What I would like to talk to you about today is the safety of your residents who reside along KR. With this road expansion, traffic will increase, no doubt. 45 miles an hour with 4 lanes of traffic through a residential neighborhood is too fast and unsafe. And everyone knows 45 to most drivers means 55, 65, and who knows, 70. Our homes on both sides are now going to be butted up against this road. Some motorist, or even a semi, is going to be speeding or is going to come down off of that overpass that they're going to put up for the railroad tracks and is going to lose control, and someone is going to be injured or worse. This is a residential neighborhood. The speed limit needs to be 35 miles per hour. And the sad thing is reducing it to 35 only adds less than 2 minutes to the commute to I-94. Our children and grandchildren play in these yards. The safety of your residents and their families should completely take precedence over commuter convenience. Another concern is the noise level. Even now, when an occasional semi comes speeding through, my windows start shaking. In the summer, my husband and I love to sit on our front porch, sipping a glass of wine, listening to the owls hoot, the crickets chirp, and the frogs croak. With this big road so close, all we're going to hear is the noise of the traffic. Our days of enjoying our front porch will be over. Further, I am requesting that additional study be given to alternatives or compromises in road design that keep both the counties and the residents happy. It is my thought that a smaller road footprint and reduction in speed would be a great start. A bike path and a sidewalk or a combo of both? Sure. What we don't need are 22 to 30-foot medians and 8-foot shoulders, especially when that brings the superhighway within feet of our front doors. Lastly, and sadly, I'd like to talk to you about suppression of information. Since April of 2018, WSDOT has been assuring us residents that all our comments, concerns, and objections were being shared with our respective counties so they could be taken into consideration, before decisions were reached. We recently discovered that on the Racine County side, that information that was shared by WSDOT as promised with members of Racine County was suppressed from our county supervisors. I can't speak about Kenosha County, but feel that on the Racine County side, this has resulted in a loss of public trust. Furthermore, we discovered that a resolution to authorize land acquisitions had already been drafted
by the Racine County Public Works Committee 2 days prior to the final WISTOP public hearing on February 28th, without having viewed any of our written, private, or public testimony. Our county supervisors went on record with the Racine Journal-Times that the only information shared with them by Racine County officials was that there were no objections and all residents were on board with the project in its current form. Clearly, that is not the case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
Barbara Voss, 4007 First Street in Kenosha, which happens to be KR in Summers. The person who spoke before me said a lot of what I had hoped to say. Therefore, I'll make it short. Last night at a meeting in Mount Pleasant, the WISDOT construction manager assured me that both counties had been sent all of the public comments. Those were due in March 7th, so till they got them collated and got them out to you, you haven't had much time. But I would hope that you would do us the courtesy to read those comments, to find out what the people who live there are concerned about. I think it would be the least that could be done before any decisions are made. I don't see anything in it for Kenosha County in advantage to this road, except lower property values, which means lower taxes. We don't mind paying fewer taxes, but I don't think that that is the best thing for the Village of Summers or Kenosha County. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Kim Mahoney. I live at 10640 South Prairie View Drive in Mount Pleasant. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I live in Mount Pleasant. My husband and I are the last remaining homeowners in Foxconn Area 1. The Village of Mount Pleasant has acknowledged that it cannot take my property using eminent domain for the road projects, and it will not try to take my property based on its fraudulent blight designation. I assume that is because Wisconsin law prohibits them from doing so. So there I sit. They claim they're going to leave me there. I'm not sure if they've advised Foxconn of that plan. But I am here tonight in support of the residents in Mount Pleasant and Summers who are affected by the Highway KR Phase 2 expansion project. I don't know why this is getting pushed through so quickly, although it has been part of the road plan since the Foxconn project was announced. And I don't know why they are pushing the message that Phase 2 project is not part of the Foxconn development, since again, it has been part of the road plans since the Foxconn project was announced. What I do know is that these people who are going to be directly impacted by Phase 2 are trying to be reasonable, while the DOT and Racine County and their hired consultants are not. The jury is still out on Kenosha County. Most of the residents I have talked to acknowledge that something needs to be done on KR. They agree that 4 lanes would be better and that a bike lane would be safer. What they cannot understand, nor can I, is why this Phase 2 expansion has to be 152 feet wide, and in some places a 30-foot median, and why the speed limit needs to be increased to from 45 to 50 miles per hour through what is a residential area. This is not a rural area that should be 50 miles an hour. Why can't the road be widened to 4 lanes with a minimal divider with a bike lane and the speed limit reduced to 35 miles an hour? The part of Highway H that travels by UNFI on the west and several homes on the east in Mount Pleasant has been designed to be only 90 feet wide with 4 lanes, a 14-foot center turn lane, and a shared use path on one side. Why can't the design or something similar be adopted for Highway KR? The residents also can't understand why their comments over the last year have not been shared with Racine and Kenosha County supervisors, so those elected officials can make a decision taking into consideration the needs and wishes of their constituents. Racine County and Mount Pleasant made the decision to spend over $900 million for the benefit of a wealthy foreign corporation without any input from the residents. Now they continue to push through an extra $59 million on a road project that affects both counties. Send them the message that Racine County is flexible and willing to adapt when residents bring forth legitimate concerns and viable solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Esther Roberts. My address is 2775 11th Place, number 812, Kenosha, Wisconsin, 53140. I'm here today to support my friends in both Summers and Mount Pleasant. I live in Summers. I'm not directly affected by the KR expansion, but many of my friends are. I'm respectfully asking you to slow this decision down. Please look at less impactful alternatives using current, not 2017, information and accurate traffic counts. Remember why you are here listening to us today. You were elected by the people of Kenosha County to represent the people of Kenosha County. Hear us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Citizens' comments? Any other citizens' comments? Seeing none, citizens' comments are closed. Moving on, announcements of the chairman. I have a few. If any supervisors are having any issues with their tablets on the update on Outlook Express, please see the county clerk or CIT in regards to basically upgrading or doing some things that they need to do in regards to our email. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, the 3rd of April, because of the election. That's Tuesday, the 2nd. Obviously, we will have new county board supervisors. They will be sworn in the following meeting. After a meeting with Supervisor Nudo this morning, he would explain to me, and we discussed his trip to NACO in Washington. He seemed to think it was very beneficial, and I know he'll have some comments in regarding that today. The county clerk at that time will pass out some information for all the supervisors to read, and if they have any other questions, they can contact myself or Supervisor Nudo. And that's all I have. Moving on to Supervisor Report. Supervisor Almond, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On your desks, I believe everyone has a sample of the new Kenosha County activity guides for the parks. Very, very well done, and we will have these available to supervisors. I guess we don't have a box of them here for you to hand out, but I've seen people very pleased with the layout of this and the activities that we naturally have expanded. As far as public works, golfs and highways, start with the golf courses that we were going to be opening on the 15th, and I didn't check to see if we did. It was all going to depend on the weather that morning. This winter we did attend the Chicago and Milwaukee golf shows. At the Chicago Golf Show, we gave out 3,750 coupons and had the most traffic that we've ever had at a golf show. Our long line of people that have worked for us for years retiring is continuing. Our Petrifying Spring Superintendent has retired after 32 years with Kenosha County. We were lucky. We had a wonderful list of applicants for that job, and we were able to hire Ryan Rutherford, a gentleman that had worked for Black Wolf Run in the same position. He comes with a great education, 12 years experience there, and it is rated as one of the best courses in America, so very fortunate. On facilities, courthouse chiller replacement, I know I've been talking about that for a year and a half, but that's going to be completed by April 19th before the heat hits Kenosha County, hopefully. On projects, the Anderson Arts Center is ongoing. Basement asbestos has been completed, and geothermal well drilling was scheduled to begin on March 11th. Branch Room Courtroom is on schedule. Start date April 15th, completion on June 10th. Public Safety Building Shooting Range, I know some of you have toured that. That's fully operational. And from everyone, deputies and people that we've had at our meetings that work in law enforcement, I guess it's just a show place. And the technology of the room was advanced so much that everyone was horribly thankful that has used it so far. Highways, we're hearing a lot about highways. We know that we've had kind of a stressful winter on everyone here since Christmas, a little after Christmas. I was asked about salt. We've used 6,400 tons of salt this year compared to 6,500 tons used for the entire season of last year. So we're right there, and we probably have a couple situations left, we don't know, but Kenosha County had planned ahead, and we're in very good shape as far as that's concerned. All our highway projects I've been reporting on, the County Highway S project is still on schedule for the 2020 start. The property acquisitions are going well. Phase 2 of that project is roughly 90% complete, the property acquisitions. And County F realignment is on schedule still for 2020. Our highway commissioner does report to the committee on the Foxconn and related DOT projects. We will have more information at our next meeting. We hold our meetings on the first Monday of each month at the county center for anyone that would like to attend. 6:30 on the first Monday of each month. And we will be, I'm sure, having some discussion after that February 28th meeting. That's a quick run on highways. Now in parks. Boundless Adventures that we all saw the movement into the Pringle Nature Center. They are on schedule also for spring, beginning there. They have been doing the cables and platform installation. If you get a chance, those of you that don't know where Pringle Nature Center is, Highway MB, just off of C, and it is kind of cool to walk around. We've got trails in the Pringle Nature Center that you can walk on, and you can see what they're putting up there, and it's blending in beautifully. Pringle Nature Center also has a new director. Hired, the previous one had left. They sent out a search and got a horribly qualified person that is going to be taking over the reins there. That's a quick run through, and thank you.
Horribly good. Thank you, Supervisor Upperman. Supervisor Nitto, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended the NACO conference in Washington, D.C., which was very informative. Also, I was able to discuss ideas and information with representatives of other counties, not just of Wisconsin, but throughout the United States. I joined the WCA team by visiting the Wisconsin Congress delegation to present them with the top issues that we need help from the federal government. The main three issues that we presented to them were child welfare, infrastructure, and IP network, which a copy has been given to you now, so you can kind of read and see what but the main consensus was mostly with the child welfare. There is a big problem. Some of the counties up north that are even less here, that shortfall with their budget due to the problem with this year, where the daily fee are going up and days are extending. Also, my group, when we're in DC, decided to ask for help on a possible bill being now drafted by Senator Baldwin, which would benefit our veterans. After I came back, I discussed these ideas or some of the things we did with Chairman Esposito, John Jensen, Ron Rogers, and Ali Nelson. Also tonight, we had our committee meeting with Senator Warngard as our guest speaker with an update on the budget and other related issues at the state level. Budget hearings will start soon throughout the state, and hopefully an agreement will be reached by July 1st. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Newell. Supervisor Gaske, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight, I'd like to just take a few moments to publicly recognize and thank Kenosha County's many dedicated social workers for all that they do to make our community a better place. Today, March 19th, 2019, is World Social Work Day. It's a day that's set aside annually on the third Tuesday in March to recognize the accomplishments of social workers all around the world. And based upon my own personal experience as a foster parent, an adoptive parent, and as a former educator and mental health care worker, and as a current member of Kenosha County's Human Services Committee, I have great respect and gratitude for the invaluable work of social workers throughout our community. My life, my family's life, my community that I love have all benefited from and are better because of the hard work and dedication of our social workers. Each and every day, at all hours of the day and night, Kenosha County's social workers help advocate and care for the most vulnerable in our community in their times of greatest need. Here's just a few examples. Helping investigate claims of abuse against children, elderly, or disabled individuals. Helping find safe and loving foster homes for children, while at the same time helping provide birth parents get the support and help they need to get back on their feet. Helping discharge patients from the hospital and transitioning them into a rehab or long-term care facility. Helping our community's troubled youth navigate the juvenile justice system. Helping individuals struggling with mental health or substance abuse to be able to get clean and sober and get the help that they need. Helping unemployed or underemployed people attain training and meaningful employment. And finally, helping connect veterans and the elderly and the disabled with the information and the services that they need. So to each and every one of the social workers throughout our community, thank you for all that you do to make Kenosha County a better place. We recognize you today, we value you, we celebrate you, and we appreciate you. Thank you, and please keep up the good work.
Thank you, Supervisor Gaske. Supervisor Decker, you have the floor.
Thank you. The PDAC committee had a meeting on March 13th, and there were 2 items that we approved that will not come before us. Just wanted to inform the board. One of them was a conditional use permit for Country Thunder, and the other was a certified survey map for the Daniels property, which is on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Seeing no more supervisor reports, we'll clear the board. Moving on, County Clerk.
Ordinance, Ordinance 26 from the Public Works Facilities Committee, an ordinance to change the speed limit on County Highway A in the town of Paris. Elverman, yes. Franco, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Uhas, yes. Nordigan, yes. Poole, yes. Cardinelli, excused. Sorry, it's first reading. Ordinance 27 from the Public Works Facilities Committee, an ordinance to change the speed limit on County Highway A in the Village of Summers. Elverman, yes. Franco, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Uhas, yes. Nordigan, yes. Poole, yes. Cardinelli, excused. Ordinance 28 from the Planning Development and Extension Education Committee, an ordinance regarding an amendment to the text of the Kenosha County General Zoning and Shoreland Floodplain Zoning Ordinance to modify and amend language relative to the requirement for foundation surveys for new construction, sign distance and height, multiple family dwellings, and definitions. Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Nordigan, yes. Rodriguez, yes.
Just one reading?
That's the first of two.
This is the one right here. All right. Ordinance 29 from Planning Development and Extension Education Committee, an ordinance regarding Daniels Living Trust owner, comprehensive plan amendment tax parcel number 342202310100, Town of Brighton. Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Nordigan, yes. Rodriguez, yes.
Supervisor Decker, you have the floor.
Move ordinance 29.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Decker and a second by Supervisor Skalitsky. Supervisor Decker.
The address of this parcel is 248th Avenue in Kansasville. It is on the corner of 18th Street and County Highway X in Brighton. The town of Brighton approved the request.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion on this item, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance passes.
Ordinance 30, excuse me, from the Planning Development Extension Education Committee, an ordinance regarding Daniels Living Trust owner rezoning tax parcel number 30-4-220-231-0100, Town of Brighton. Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Nordigan, yes. Rodriguez, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Decker.
Move ordinance 30.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Decker and a second by Supervisor Poole. Supervisor Decker.
This is the same property as ordinance 29, and again, the town approved the request.
Thank you very much. Seeing no discussion on this, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance passes.
Resolution 76 from the Human Services Committee to appoint June Sinkfield to the Kenosha County Commission on Aging and Disability Services. Grady, yes. Gable, yes. Berg, excused. Celebrity, yes. Geschke, yes. Nudo, excused. Rodriguez, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
I'd move resolution number 76.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Grady and a second by Supervisor Gable. Supervisor Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mrs. Sinkfield appeared before our committee and the vote was unanimous. I'd ask your approval this evening.
Thank you very much. Seeing no discussion on this resolution, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 77 from Judiciary and Law Enforcement and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution 2019 Wisconsin Department of Justice Law Enforcement Drug Trafficking Response Equipment Grant. Judiciary and Law, Boyd Frederick, yes. Wambolt, yes. Celebrity, yes. Uhas, yes. Rodriguez, excused. Rose, yes. Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes. Gable, yes. O'Day, yes. Wambolt, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
I would move the resolution.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Supervisor Rose.
This is an amendment to the budget and therefore requires a two-thirds vote. It is the acceptance of an equipment grant from the 2019 Department of Justice Drug Trafficking Response. The list of equipment is on the very last page of the resolution, and it is for $10,000. This is our portion of a larger grant of some $50,000, which is administered by Racine County as the lead agency for what is called the Southeastern Wisconsin Drug Operations Consortium. Both committees have endorsed it, and we ask your endorsement this evening.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. This is a budget modification, so we will have a roll call. Yes, if you're in favor of the resolution, no if you're not. Resolution passes unanimously.
Resolution 78 from Judiciary and Law Enforcement and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution 2019 Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force's Strategic Initiative, OCDETF, funding for overtime. Judiciary and Law, Boyd Frederick, yes. Wambolt, yes. Celebrity, yes. Uhas, yes. Rodriguez, excused. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes. Gable, yes. O'Day, yes. Wambolt, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
I would move the resolution on behalf of the two committees.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Supervisor Rose.
Again, this is an amendment to the budget that requires two-thirds vote. It is the acceptance of some $25,000 for overtime costs to reimburse us for the Sheriff's Department Drug Enforcement Unit.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no discussion, this is a roll call because it's a budget modification. Yes, if you're in favor of the resolution, no if you're not. Resolution passes.
Resolution 79 from Judiciary and Law Enforcement and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution 2019 Wisconsin OJA Multi-Jurisdiction Drug Task Force Grant, Southeast Area Drug Operations Group, CDOG. Judiciary and Law, Boyd Frederick, yes. Wamble, yes. Celebrity, yes. Uhas, yes. Rodriguez, excused. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes. Gable, yes. O'Day, yes. Wamble, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
I would move the resolution.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Rose, second by Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Supervisor Rose.
The resolution has been endorsed by both Judiciary and Law as well as the Finance Committee. It is a budget modification requesting that we accept some $53,140 for a number of things for the Kenosha County Drug Task Force for 2019. It will assist the Sheriff's Department Drug Unit for such things as informant information, drug buys, purchase of equipment, telecommunication expenditures, and again, overtime expense. Both committees have endorsed it. We ask for your endorsement this evening.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no discussion on this item, this is a budget modification. So yes, if you're in favor of the resolution, no if you're not. Roll call. Supervisor Gaschke.
To Jeopardy.
There we go. Thank you. Resolution passes.
Resolution 80 from Judiciary, Law Enforcement, and Finance and Administration Committee, a resolution Wisconsin DOJ National Criminal History Improvement Program Grant. Judiciary and Law, Boyd Frederick, yes. Wamble, yes. Celebrity, yes. Uhas, yes. Rodriguez, excused. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes. Gable, yes. O'Day, yes. Wamble, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Rose.
Move the resolution.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Rose, a second by Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Supervisor Rose.
This is again a grant money accepted by Kenosha County with your approval, endorsement of both the Finance Committee and Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee. This essentially is to connect the District Attorney's Office via software with the Sheriff's Department so that they have more information regarding national criminal history of individuals charged with various crimes. We ask your endorsement this evening.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no discussion on this item, this is a budget modification, so the roll call will be requested. If you're in favor of the resolution, you vote yes. If you're not, you vote no. Resolution passes.
Resolution 81 from the Planning Development Extension Education Committee, a resolution regarding Daniels Living Trust owner, comprehensive plan amendment tax parcel number 30-4-220-231-0100, Town of Brighton. Decker, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Nordigan, yes. Rodriguez, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Decker, you have the floor.
Move Resolution 81.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Decker, a second by Supervisor Nordigan. Supervisor Decker.
This is the same property as ordinances 29 and 30, and once again, the town approved the request.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion on this, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 82 from Public Works and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution to approve the jurisdictional transfer agreement of a section of County Trunk Highway H between 52nd and 65th Street from Kenosha County to the city of Kenosha. Public Works, Elverman, yes. Franco, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Uhas, yes. Cardinelli, excused. Nordigan, yes. Poole, yes. Finance, Edmund, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Wamble, yes. Gable, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
Move Resolution 82.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. I have a motion by Supervisor Alverman, a second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Alverman.
Resolution 82 is recommending a jurisdictional transfer of a portion of Highway H. From County Trunk, County Trunk H, from 52nd Street to 65th Street. This jurisdictional transfer has been deemed by us and by the city to be in the best interest of both parties. Kenosha County will not be responsible for maintenance on that section of highway and on the paving, snow plowing. It is a much better fit for the city to be in charge of that piece of highway, and we have always been pleased when we can do this with certain sections of highway. It makes our maintenance, again, our plowing, mowing, everything much easier, and we have added on many miles in the past years, so this is a good fit for both of us. I ask for your approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 83 from the Public Works Facilities Committee, a resolution appointing Lieutenant Rory Zerline to the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission. Alverman, yes. Franco, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Uhas, yes. Cardinelli, excused. Nordigan, yes. Poole, yes.
Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you. I move Resolution 83.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Alverman, a second by Supervisor Franco. Supervisor Alverman.
Kenosha Traffic Safety Commission is comprised of a wide variety of people from our society here in the county. A very important member of that would be in law enforcement, traffic safety. We have had Captain Bill Beth hold that position. Lieutenant Rory Zerline volunteered to take that position. Came to our meeting, again, a volunteer for extra time and another job is always welcomed, and we're very grateful to him. He seemed horribly interested in it. I hate to use the word horribly again. Well, he was happily interested in it.
That's better.
And we ask that you approve this appointment. He will serve without pay.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Seeing no discussion on this resolution, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 84 from Public Works and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution regarding We Energy's permanent easement request within Petrifying Springs Park. Judiciary and Law, Public Works and Facilities. Yep. Alverman, yes. Franco, yes. Poole, yes. Cardinelli, excused. Nordigan, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Uhas, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes. O'Day, yes. Gable, yes. Wamble, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
Move Resolution 84.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Alverman and a second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Alverman.
This is giving an easement to We Energies. They require an easement when they're running new lines, and this came about with the upgrading we're doing on restroom facilities in Petrifying Springs Park. So I would ask for your approval.
Thank you very much. Seeing no discussion on this item, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Communications from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee regarding resolution requesting a reclassification of the Administrative Programs Coordinator job classification to a sworn lieutenant classification.
Not there yet.
Refer to Judiciary and Law Committee.
Communication from the Public Works Facilities Committee regarding a resolution authorizing the Director of Parks to apply for grant funding from the WDNR.
Refer to Public Works Committee.
22, communications from Andy Ambula regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
Refer to PDEC Committee.
Claims, Kit Stillwell, violation of rights.
Refer to Corporation Council.
24, Kit Stillwell, violation of rights.
Refer to Corporation Council.
25, Kit Stillwell, violation of rights.
Refer to Corporation Council.
26, Leah Kamizuko, harassment.
Refer to Corporation Council.
27, Meg Hart, personal injury.
Refer to Corporation Council.
28, Tar Kalabal Gashia Khan, violation of constitutional rights.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Approval of the March 5th, 2019 minutes by Supervisor Gashke.
Supervisor Gashke, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we approve the March 5th, 2019 minutes as presented.
Thank you. 1 second. Supervisor Rodriguez, you seem to have good timing. Do you have something
Yeah.
in regards to this?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to amend the minutes here to state that I abstained from County Executive Appointment 36 instead of 37.
Let the record show the abstention, please.
And then I will amend my motion to accept the friendly amendment.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All right, so I have a motion by Supervisor Gaschke and a second by Supervisor Franco with the amended minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Those are approved amended. I have a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. I have a motion to adjourn by Supervisor Decker, a second by Supervisor Nordigan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you. You scared me.